Good afternoon from a beautiful day here in North Carolina. And today I am going to talk about 5 mistakes I made when I first got into birding. So come along and enjoy this adventure. I think my biggest mistake I made when I first got into birding was rushing, trying to get those shots, I was focused more on taking pictures of birds than I was to take pictures of birds. What it was is I knew there would be ducks out on this pond, so I would walk a half a mile to where the pond was and take pictures of the ducks, not realizing that I was walking by dozens of species of birds that were in the woods around me, and maybe some pictures that were even better than that. So the number one thing I can say to you is slow down. What I do is when I'm now birding is usually I just take an area and walk it. I'll only walk maybe a quarter of a mile or half a mile through the woods, and I will stop every time I hear a bird sing or every time I hear a bird chirping and start looking for that animal. Even if I know what it is, you never know when you'll find that perfect situation to take a picture. So my tip to you right now is just to slow down. You don't have to walk at 3 miles into the woods to take a picture of a bird. A bird of a lifetime may be right next to the parking lot. Well, I think one of the biggest mistakes when I first got into wildlife photography was I got hung up on focusing on the eye of the bird. That was kind of like everything that I read online, every book I read said, focus on the eye. It's the only thing that matters. And I don't believe in that at all. When I take in pictures of birds, what I'll do is the first thing I do is just get up on the bird and snap 3 or 4 pictures of it. That way there I have a picture of the bird just in case he flies off. Next what I'll do is I will focus on the head and I'll take 3 or 4 pictures on its head. And then I'll focus on its wing and I'll take 3 or 4 pictures of its wing. Focus on its tail, focus on the feet or the branch it's sitting on. I posted a picture 2 days ago of a tufted titmouse, and if you want to see this picture or any of my other pictures, the links are below. But it is incredibly sharp image, and the reason why it's so sharp is because obviously the camera focused on it. But I have found that if you adjust your focus on the bird, so you focus on the wing, you focus on the head, you focus on the tail, you focus on the feet, you will be surprised how much of a difference it will make. And granted, I probably took 40 or 50 pictures of that tufted titmouse, and out of those 40 or 50 pictures, I would say less than 10% of them, or 5 or 6 pictures, were in focus, or what I would call really crisp, sharp images. All the other ones I deleted. So when you're focusing on a bird, don't be afraid to change where you focus on it. So that's tip number 2. Now, if you watch my channel at all, you probably get a good indication that this tripod goes with me almost every single time. I can't tell you how useful a tripod is to you. One thing I really like about it is right now the tripod is sitting here waiting for me to take a picture. I can scan for birds while I'm here. If I got a bird climbing a tree or it's just sitting there and it's got its head behind a branch or anything like that, I can put the camera right on the bird and just wait for it to move into position to take that picture. It's just really good. The other thing I really like about it is you can push yourself a little bit more than you can without it. So normally I like to have a shutter speed of no less than 800. But with the tripod, I have taken pictures at 400th of a second, and it really is something that I strongly believe in. A monopod or a tripod, and I understand the objections to it. One, it's heavy, it's bulky, it's in your way, and yes, there are situations where you can't use a tripod. If you're on a boat, you generally can't use a tripod. In a vehicle of any kind, you usually can't use a tripod. But I keep on saying this, if you go on a guided trip, a guided photo trip, and you're in a boat, usually they have monopods attached to the side of the boat or the side of their vehicles. So if tripods and monopods aren't that important, why do professionals insist on using them so much? It's just something that I strongly encourage you to do. I think you'll see higher quality images, and I think the pain in the ass issue with the tripod is offset by the quality of your images. So that's tip number 3. Always use a tripod or a monopod. Well, the 4th mistake I made a lot was not being aware of where my shadow was pointing, or if I had a shadow. Now this may seem incredibly weird. What do I care about my shadow? Well, generally speaking, if you don't see your shadow at all, like we have right now, there's a cloud that's coming over the sun. This is perfect light to be photographing birds. You're not going to get any harsh shadows on it. You can tell there are no harsh shadows here. So this is perfect light. But unfortunately, this is not the light that we do most of our photography in. So generally speaking, what I tell people is have your shadow pointing towards your subject. And sometimes just being able to walk down a trail 8 or 10 feet will make a huge difference, or moving this way or that way a few feet can make a huge difference in you getting that light just right. And a little bit of effort like that can really improve your photography. So if you don't see your shadow, take the picture. If you do see your shadow, have it pointing right at your subject. So that's tip number 4. My 5th tip to you, or the 5th thing that I did wrong when I first got into birding, was not taking pictures of local or common birds. Now, if you're new to photography and you want to learn how to take pictures of common birds, you really need to focus on taking pictures of common birds. It gives you a chance to use your equipment, see how it works. It also allows you to become experienced with wildlife. Even though if you live here in North Carolina, the northern cardinal is a very common bird. You really, when you're out in the woods here, that bird is not as willing to tolerate you as, let's say, in your backyard. So taking photographs of common birds really raises your skills up. The other thing that does it too is if you enter a national contest, most of those contests are won by birds that are fairly common in the areas that people photograph them. A lot of times people who take these contests very seriously will set up an area where they know that a common bird comes through, and they will photograph that bird, trying to get those unusual shots of that bird doing something completely unusual. So that's one reason why I encourage people to photograph common birds. It may give you that picture that wins the Audubon photo contest. So, and it's just really good. Some of these birds are very beautiful. Because you see them all the time doesn't mean that they're not beautiful. So I'm hoping you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel because that really helps us in the YouTube world. Become a Patreon supporter. Your support allows us to keep doing this. My name is Leahy. I want to thank you for watching.